Hello everyone, welcome to Neural Data. I am Aditya and today we are going ahead with our data science course playlist. This is our very first video of the playlist. For any query regarding data science, kindly visit our website www.neuraldata.info. What is data science? Data science is the study of data. It is about extracting, analyzing, visualizing, managing, and storing the data to get an insight or to get an useful information out of that. These insights helps the companies to make powerful data-driven decisions, which in turn increase the revenue of a company. So this data science is practically applicable to each and every domain possible. Any domain you think, it can be applied. Now we will see what kind of data we have. As we know, in this data science, the raw material, the building block is data. But what are the kind of data that we get? So it consists of mainly three types. First one is the structured data. Second one is unstructured data. And third one is semi-structured data. Before moving ahead with these subcomponents, let us understand the exact meaning of data. So data is a collection of facts or numbers, or it can be measurements or observations, anything which has got some meaningful information, that we say it as a data. Or if I have to say it in theoretical word, we can say data is a collection of facts. Those facts can be numbers, measurements, observations that can be translated into a form that computers can understand, computers can process, like zeros and ones, binary. So this is how a data should be thought of. Very basic example I will give you. If you think of a structured data, it will be a tabular kind of data, where we will be having this table, where we will be having this number of rows and number of columns. In a structured, you can say we have got some image of a person. So how can you convert this into binary form, into 0 and 1s? So this is how a image can be represented as a data, and that data is an unstructured data. Now semi-structured data. Semi-structured data is a database model where there is no separation between data and the schema, and the amount of structure used depends upon the purpose. It can represent the information of some data sources that cannot be constrained by schema. So here we have examples like XML file or CSV file also with XML and all, and JSON file if you know. So these are all the examples of semi-structured data. Basically, whatever you know about NoSQL, those data like NoSQL databases contains data which are semi-structured in nature. As of now, you have seen the broadly classified types. Now we will discuss about the structured data types, that is categorical data and numerical data. Now data can be broadly classified into two groups. First one is categorical data. Second one is numerical data. And now we will discuss about the subcategories of these two categories. So in categorical data, we have got two types of categorical data. The first one is nominal data second one is ordinal, and when we come to the numerical data, we have got interval and ratio. Now one by one we will see the definition of first these two, and then we will move ahead with subcategories and the definition of that. Now we will move ahead with the categorical data. Categorical data represents characteristics. Therefore, it can represent things like a person's gender, language, age, etc. Categorical data can also take on the numerical values like 1 for male, 0 for female, or any kind of pin code and all. Note that those numbers don't have mathematical meaning. That is, we can't add them together or take the average of that. In the context of super classification, categorical data would be the class level. This would be something like a person is a man or a woman, or a property is residential or commercial. So here anything which describes the characteristics or property of any substance, item, person, anything, or any object I can write. Now you may ask, what is the example of that? So characteristics would be like sex, where it can be a male or a female, or in categorical data we can say we have got the zip code or pin code, right? So this can be anything like 10001 or 30501, something like that. So these number represents the category, like this belongs to, consider some state or some place, this belongs to some other place, but we can't add or subtract or do any kind of arithmetic operations on these. So arithmetic operations is not possible in this categorical data. So I have given you example for both in numerical type of categorical data and like word kind of categorical data. Now in categorical data we will now go ahead with this nominal data, and then we will see the ordinal one. So let's get started. Nominal data. Nominal data or nominal values represent discrete units and are used to label variables that have no quantitative value. Just think of them as labels. Note that nominal data has no order. Therefore, if we would change the order of its value, the meaning would not change. Now, I will give you an example of how you can interpret this nominal data. Now, if I ask you what is your gender, you can say it as female or male, right? Okay. And if I ask you what language do you speak, you can say English, or you can say French, German, or Spanish. What we understand from this, if we rearrange these things, if we rearrange all these options, like if I write English here, French here, German here, or Spanish here, wherever, just put it here and put this one here, just shuffle it, then it won't change the meaning, it won't change the interpretation of those values of those words. It will remain same. So nominal data is nothing but the label data. This label can be the name of any person. Very simple example, name of any person. Consider a person has name Adam, Brandon, Clark, Johnson, or anything, any number of names you take. So what we interpret is, we can't just do any arithmetic operations. We can't add these two because it's not logical. We don't have any numerical values, right? So in nominal data, we can't do arithmetic operations. You'll ask, how can we analyze them? So for this, we have got various methods. The first one is pie chart. Simply you can make pie chart where you can say like in this area we have got the population of around 75% as men and remaining 25% as women. So you can easily represent it like this, right? And second thing is like, if we are talking about this, so here we can see like if we are doing a war chart, so against the salary of each person, here this x-axis will be the name. We can say like Adam has this much of salary here, and Brandon is earning more, Clark is even earning more than Brandon and Adam, and then we can see this Johnson has a little bit less salary than Clark and Brandon. So this is how we interpret the nominal data, and these are the just discrete values. Here you have to keep in mind, we deal with nominal data by collecting information through frequencies and proportions. Proportion is nothing but dividing, like against each record, dividing that by total number of records. Then against each records you will get the proportion. So this is how nominal data works. Now we will go ahead with the ordinal data. So if you remember ordinal data, this ordinal data is subcategory of this categorical data, right? Now this ordinal value represents discrete and ordered unit. So it is discrete, just like our nominal data, it is also discrete, but apart from this is ordered also. It is therefore nearly the same as nominal data, except that it is ordered in nature. It is in some sense a mix of numerical as well as categorical data. I will show you some example right now. Consider we want to get the educational background of a person. So what are the things we will be getting from the person? Like Likert scale we will be making. Then what would be the component of that Likert scale? So first one you can say we have is elementary. Second information that we will be getting will be about high school. Third, we will be getting about undergraduate. And lastly, we will be getting the details about PG, post graduation. So like this we will be getting the details, right? And there are some details which will be common, like nature. So here we can see it is ordered in nature. Like elementary will be like from 1st to 6th and all. Then high school we go from 7 to 10 or 12th standard. Then undergraduate we go for graduation after 12th and all. Then we go for PG, like postgraduate. Then we go for PhD also if you want to add those things. So we can see there is some ordering, right? One person can't do PhD and then go for high school and then come again for undergraduate and then go for elementary. It's not possible. Though these names are discrete in nature, we can't just add, subtract those things. Aggregation we can't do, but still there are some meaning in that. I will give an example. Consider I have given you one glass of water. Now the water I have given you is quite hot, right? And we have this Likert scale which ranges from 0 to 10. After providing you with this water, I would like you to give some points, 10 being the hottest 0 being the coldest drink you have taken. Since I have given you the hot water, you may rate it as 8 or 9 something. So this 8 or 9 that we are giving has some meaning. Meaning is as in like it has got some intensity in that, right? So this meaning, this intensity, this ordering comes under this ordinal data. I hope you are getting this point. If you remember, this is numerical category. And after discussing this, we will go to the interval and ratio. So let's get going. Numerical category is the kind of data where data points are exact numbers, and these numbers can be quantitative data or numerical data, you can say. This kind of data has a meaning like measurements such as the house price, number of residential properties, or the number of houses sold, number of bikes sold. So these numbers hold some value, some meanings inside it. And again, numerical data is categorized into like continuous or discrete data. So now we will discuss about the continuous data. Continuous data can assume any value. It may take infinite points within a certain range, whereas a discrete data has a distinct value within a certain range. For example, number of Python class would be a discrete data set. You can only have discrete whole numbers like 10, 20, 30, something like that. A class cannot have 12.75 students enrolled, right? A student either join a class like 1 or he does not join a class 0. In other words, continuous data are numbers that can fall anywhere within a range. Like a student could have an average score of 88.25 which falls between 88 and 89, right? You can have height of like 5 feet 8 inches point something. If I take a number on this numerical line between 0 to 1, we can have an infinite number of points like 0.01 or 0.0001 or 0.01001000 or 0.00011110. So any number, like between any two numbers, we can have infinite number of points. Or if we take it as a whole, like from 0 to infinite, then again we have infinite number of points here also, and here in minus infinity also. So in short, we can say any number which can be represented by a decimal number is called as a continuous data or continuous numerical data, whereas the number which can only be represented by whole number and is finite in nature is called as a discrete numerical data. Now we will talk about the first subcategory of numerical data, that is interval data. So interval data or interval values represent ordered units that have the same difference. Therefore, we speak of interval data when we have a variable that contains numerical value that are ordered and where we know the exact differences between the values. An example would be the feature that contains temperature of a given place. Like we can say we have a temperature of you say minus 10 degree, minus 5, 0, 5, 10, 15. So if you see the difference between these two and these two is 5 degrees, right? The problem with interval data is that they don't have a true zero. So consider I am saying you like the temperature of my place, of my city is 0 degree right now. So it doesn't mean that there is no temperature in my city. There is some temperature, but that corresponds to some temperature. So 0 means like it is a cold environment right now in my city. 0 doesn't mean that our city has become a vacuum space. It is not like that. 0 means some temperature, and this temperature will be a cold temperature where water freezes at 0 degree, right? And if you are going towards this negative side, then you will be getting a more colder zone, and this side you will be getting a more positive or hotter climate. Now in this interval data, we can add, subtract, but we cannot multiply, divide or calculate ratios because there is no true zero. a lot of descriptive and inference statistics can't be applied. So you just can't multiply these numbers and get the output for the some other locations, other places. Now we will talk about another subcategory of numerical continuous data, that is ratio data. Ratio data is almost same as interval data, only the difference is that here there is an absolute meaning of 0. So there we have taken an example where in the interval data where we have seen that 0 temperature doesn't mean exact 0. So here if I would take an example of height or length of any box or something, if I say 0 inches or centimeter, length is 0 centimeter something, that means that particular box or object doesn't have any height or length. So this is what ratio says. Also, ratio doesn't have any negative value, so no negative value it will have. Like we can't say the height is minus 10 feet or length is minus 2 inches something. It's not possible, right? So ratio will be always positive and it will have zero absolute value. It has this meaning. I would take one example right now. Consider there are 4 people who has $20, $40, $60 and $80, right? Then from this data we know that $20 is less than 40, $40 is less than 60, $60 is less than $80, right? And the difference between these 4 values are also same, like difference of $20 is there with each and every data, right? So if I say in future that there is one person with $0, so it's possible because the difference between these two is 20, same as with all the data. So it falls under the ratio category. But here $0 means that that person doesn't have any money with him. So here 0 has actual meaning. And if I say that this comparison, if I'm taking between the person having $20 and $80, we can say that this person has 4 times money as that of this $20 person. So ratio will be 1:4 if we are considering this and this. And here we don't have any minus $20 or minus $40. So these type of things are not possible in ratio. This is it for this session. In the next video, we will discuss about random variable, probability and probability distribution, data distribution and population versus sample. If you have found this video useful, then kindly like it, share it and subscribe it. Thanks. Stay safe, stay blessed.